going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Cross Platform Podcast, the show where 3, sometimes 4 friends sit around a room and just kind of talk about our week and talk about some of the nerdy news that we thought was interesting during the week. And then at the end of the show, we talk about, right now, Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm that one, Heath. With me, as always, Gordy Mills.
Yo!
Mike on Skype.
How's it going?
And I guess we'll jump into things. Anything exciting happened this week with you guys?
Yes.
What was that?
I went camping.
Like, what is camping for you? Camping for my family was like a 40-foot trailer.
Yeah, well, camping for me... You want to turn that speaker
I'll
off
turn
now?
that down.
Oh, that's perfect timing.
Wow.
Look at that line. Look at that line on that.
Oh, God.
Bottom
so
track,
loud.
the big one. So, camping for me growing up was always, I don't know, with my mom, she was like, she went to camp every summer where they would do wilderness training and they would like backpack and make camp by like setting up their tent and digging a moat around it and like digging a hole to poop in. And I think even
For me to poop in.
maybe like fishing and catching their own dinner. So camping for us was always kind of like that. It was a lot more of like very minimalistic. And then my wife, growing up, her family had the pop-up and then later the 40-foot.
That's what we did, too.
And yeah, they would always rent a lot and park it for a week and camp there.
Yep.
And I guess before that, they did some tent camping, which was still car camping, as in like you leave everything in your car and you park the car at the edge of your campsite, which is basically what we did. But she hasn't camped, isn't a fan of the thought of sleeping on the ground. So I have not, this is the first time I've ever gotten her to go camping.
Yeah.
So I'm going to consider it a win. It was at Jellystone Park, which is a campground of America, themed after the whole Yogi Bear thing, because Yogi Bear lives in Jellystone Park and steals campers' picnic baskets and shit like that. And it's pretty cool. And I knew that they had a lot of different activities, and I thought it was like activities for the kids, and I figured we were just going to be like sitting around, like chasing the babies while the older kids run off and do fun stuff. And I spent my entire weekend running around with all the older kids doing the fun stuff with them.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. And yeah, it was kind of one of those like I guess I had really low expectations of what my week was going to look like. And I ended up with like very, very pleased, very impressed. And I think I'd gladly go back. The main attraction was a lake, and on one side of the lake was a dock with like paddle boats and paddle boards and kayaks and canoes and all different like human powered water sports stuff, water transportation, I don't know, watercraft. On the other side was a beach and then a water slide and then this dock that you could jump in and swim on, and then out a ways. The lake was about 20 feet deep under this part. There was a giant inflatable obstacle course that you could climb up onto, and like the middle was this big like trampoline thing, and there were these arms that went off in all different directions with different challenges where, you know, kind of like these inflatable bars that go across, and you have to kind of run from one to the other like Wipeout and not fall off.
Right.
And it was actually a real pain in the ass to get back on. I realized that in the last 10 years or so, I've lost upper body strength and gained lower body mass, which both made it really, really difficult to lift myself up they had a climbing wall side, and I realized that I couldn't pull myself up high enough to get my foot on the lowest hold. And then there was a side that had a little step that you could climb up on, but that side had a balance beam that was inflatable, and you had to sort of like balance across that to even get to the middle.
Yeah.
And I fell off like 3 out of 4 times. It was kind of embarrassing. So I just spent the rest of the time in a canoe,
Yeah.
and that was cool.
I miss going camping. My family would go camping somewhere in Urbana,
Yeah.
and we'd always go. Like I said, we had the big 40-foot house,
Yeah.
basically, and we would go and like over long weekends, and we'd keep it there. We kept ours there for like 2 or 3 years, and we would go whenever we wanted.
I had a question about that. There was a lot of people there that did it. Some of them, like, you could tell they're permanent. They build decks and like landscape the thing, and they have garages with their golf carts in them.
We didn't go that hardcore, but
So I noticed that they all had hookups: electric, TV, and then this big tube that had water as well, and then a big tube which I think was sewage.
probably.
So with a camper or with an RV, more with RVs, I think hasn't the rules always been like no solids, liquids only in the toilet?
No.
I don't know if that's because of the storage tank. They don't want poop in the storage tank. But when you're hooked up to a sewage line like that, is it like anything goes? You can
Yeah, I pooped
do
in our toilet.
whatever you want in the toilet?
Mean shits in that toilet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Something about walking a quarter of a mile to the bathroom.
I
when
mean,
had
there
that
were
sucked.
like shower stalls and
Right.
bathrooms for the people who
Right.
didn't have that, but yeah, ours and some of the weekends we wouldn't hook it up if we knew we'd just if we
Yeah.
were close enough to, the shower or the bathroom place.
Yeah, I had a blast.
Yeah.
All the kids loved it. My wife loved it. We're definitely going to be going
I
back.
haven't gone.
That'll probably be a yearly thing.
Yeah, I haven't gone camping since probably high school, and the big thing with camping with me, especially at that place, is we knew, some of the people like Casey Allen.
Okay.
He was one of the he camped there when we were kids, so we would see
Oh, yeah?
each other every once in a while, even though we
Nice.
didn't go to school together anymore. And there's a bunch of kids our age, and through whatever random happenstance, as it always happens when I'm not actually in my hometown, I would meet a girl there and
Right.
spend a debaucherous weekend with somebody, and it was a good time. It was always a lot of fun, and there was like an arcade. They had a pool table and a jukebox, and all the kind of kids would kind of congregate in there, and they would have like dances at night
Right.
on the beach and stuff like that. And one of the girls that I met there were actually still friendly. She's since married someone and blah blah blah.
Right,
But we're still
right.
friends. But yeah, it was. I miss camping. It was a lot of fun. I'm a grown ass man with no family. I can't go camping by myself. That would be a little weird. But
Yeah.
you
Crazy thing, you talk about meeting people. The family that was camping in the spot right next to us. Now, this is like over an hour away. The family that's camping in the spot right next to us, I find out, is from the same town that we're in.
Yeah.
And after talking with them, they live less than a mile down the road from me on the same road. Like,
Yeah, that's a small world.
how bizarre. You go somewhere that a bunch of people from all over the state and probably country are camping in, and you end up in a spot right next to people that live less than a mile down the road. So yeah, we exchange contact information. We're going to be like going to their house for a bunch of cookouts and stuff. So
Adults can make friends too.
yeah, yeah.
What about you, Mike? Anything interesting this week?
Not a whole lot was going on. I mean, I applied for a new spot at my job, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. I bought a couch, waiting for that to be delivered. Yeah.
That was an exciting week you got going on right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But you guys talking about camping reminds me of our story when we went camping.
Brokeback
You remember
Mountain.
that?
Yes.
Oh, calling it Brokeback Mountain. That's hilarious.
Oh, well, now you gotta tell a story.
So like when I first met Mike, it was actually like the conversation got started because of his Jeep, and I had just gotten mine, and I had just like started doing off-roading, and found out that he went off-roading, and so like we went together a couple times, and then he was going on this trail ride, which like my Jeep wasn't good enough to go on a trail, so he had me come along with him. And so we decided, instead of getting up really, really early and driving down there, we decided to get a campsite right by where we were going and just camp out the night before. And so we head down there and we set up camp, and it's like April, and it's nice during the day. And it got cold at night, but we like set up camp and we're going out looking for firewood and I think looking for gas, like, cause you had to fill up the tank. So we take the doors off his Jeep and, just kind of driving around the country looking for this stuff. And then like, as we're driving, we're noticing that like the stars are going away and the moon's going away. And then we start seeing like lightning off in the distance in 3 different directions. And we're like, oh, this isn't good. Still no doors on the Jeep. And the temperature's probably now dropped into like the low 60s, maybe high 50s. And so like we're cranked up the heat and we're both like huddling towards the middle of the car as we're driving down these country roads, so like 45, 50. Oh, and every gas station we came across was closed because it was like 11 o'clock at night. And apparently the country closes at 8. Yeah. And just watching this gas gauge go down, 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 down. And gas light comes on, and we're like, oh, this is not going to be good. Did we have Joe and his girlfriend following us then? Or,
no, they met us. They camped in the spot next to us.
But were they following us during that adventure?
I think they were following us for a little bit, actually, but not the whole time.
Okay. So we got back, we made a fire, and we're like cooking hot dogs on the fire. And I just remember like they were awful. It was not a good dinner. And then
how do you mess up a hot dog?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it was kind of one of those like when you roast a marshmallow by sticking it right in the fire, so like the outside gets burnt and the inside's like cold. Yeah. It was like that. Anyway, so we settle down and go to sleep, and like it was cold as shit. And I remember like I woke up, and I think Mike woke up around the same time, and he's just like, oh, my ass hurts. And I'm like, wasn't me. And like I hear the guy and his girlfriend in the tent next to us just start cracking up laughing. Like, got a Brokeback Mountain moment over there. Yeah, he had a Jeep also. He lived down the street from Mike, and so we met them up there and camped out, and then we went out to that trail ride. That was a fun day.
Yeah, that was fun.
I've wanted to go back and find those township roads again just to kind of drive up and down, but all the ones I found had these big, huge mounds of dirt in the entrance that like I didn't have enough ground clearance to make it over. I would have gotten hung up on it. Yeah.
Well, through the magic of editing, I'm going to bring in a friend of mine, and we're going to go over an exciting story that happened to me this week. So, bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep. So another fun thing that happened to me today was, or the other day, I almost died. And when I say that, I mean I almost died. And I've been through a few things in my life, beaten death a couple of times. And yesterday, a piece of steak almost took me out. And so we went, me and my buddy Tyler here, who you'll hear from in a second, and he'll give his version of the story. No, you don't get to talk yet, you son of a bitch.
Oh, can I cuss or no?
Yeah, you can cuss. I don't care.
Okay.
So we got Tyler FaceTiming in. Hopefully you can hear him okay. We were at Texas Roadhouse the other night, and I ordered a steak, and the very first bite I took, I choked. I have never choked before in my life on a piece of food, and I swallowed it. I was like, oh, that didn't go down correctly. So I tried to take a sip of beer to force it down, and I just made it worse. And I legitimately just started choking and panicked. And Tyler, if you want to jump in and tell your version of the story, you go right ahead.
Yeah, so first off, you didn't even start with the best part of the story.
Go ahead.
You look to get the same steak every single time, okay? The 6-ounce steak. And you ordered the 6-ounce steak, but the gentleman who brought it to you, who we went to school with, brought you an 8-ounce because it's cheaper. And he said, that's my bad.
You can say my name.
Oh, okay.
You're dumb.
So he said, this is the reason why, because he ordered it medium and it came out medium rare. And he said, this is the reason why I don't order an 8-ounce steak. So then he takes the first bite. And yes, he did actually start to choke. However, it was conceited of him to not
Speak loudly.
let me know that he was choking. He decided to sit there and just take it upon himself to try to fix it himself. So we thought he was joking, or I did. And then he gets up and he's like, I'm choking. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yes. Now, I am certified CPR and able to give the Heimlich. So I politely scooted across my seat. I did not get up because I did not deem it necessary. And I gave him the Heimlich. I thrusted twice on him. And apparently...
You can laugh. It's as bad as it sounds. He thrusted me.
And apparently I didn't do it hard enough because he is a petite, fragile person. Okay, on the inside and out. All right? He's mysterious and he likes reading books.
What does this have to do with choking?
I'm getting to that. So,
before you get to the part where it is
like
dislodged, I would like to tell that part.
Oh, yeah. So, I thrusted on him twice, and he freaked out on me and pushed me off, because that's what he does, because he doesn't want help, and thought it would be just polite to not let me save his life. But I still say to this day, well, go ahead.
So, what actually happened? So, I take a bite of steak, and I start choking, and it's not, obviously... You can
tell him the mucus part?
What?
You can tell him the mucus part?
The what part?
The mucus.
I don't know what that means. But, so I start to choke, I take a sip of beer, and it just gets worse. So I look across the table, and I go, I'm choking. And obviously I'm not saying, hey man, I'm choking. I'm like, I'm choking. And I'm not, speaking normally.
Right.
So I get up, and he's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm, pointing to my throat. I'm like, yeah, I'm choking. I can't breathe. And so I turn around, he scoots to the edge of his table, like he says, doesn't get up, just sits there and limply gives me the Heimlich maneuver. He gives me 2 good shoves and nothing is happening. And I'm like, I don't have time to turn around and explain to him how to do the Heimlich maneuver. So I
know how to do the Heimlich.
No, clearly you don't. So I wrestle out of his arms because he won't let me go. He was holding me so tenderly. And I go over to one of the bars. You've been to Texas Roadhouse before. You know the stools at the bar, how high backed the chairs are. I literally jumped up in the air and impaled myself on the top of one of the chairs. I did it twice. And the second time, the giant piece of meat flew out of my mouth. And then I started when you spit up food, other shit comes out.
Right.
And I grabbed the piece of meat and I threw it on the table and I was like,
he chucked it.
Yeah, I was pumped up. I had my adrenaline pumping, so I tossed it down and I went to kind of just walked off to the bathroom to clean myself up. And apparently by the time I get back, Tyler has already told everyone in the restaurant how he's saved my life. And Tyler continued to tell everyone the rest of the night how he just saved my life from me choking when he actually did nothing.
No, we came to a compromise. We came to a compromise. I gave you 2 options.
What?
I said to you, you can tell people I saved your life, which I did.
No.
Or you can tell people that without my assistance, you would have died.
You didn't assist in any way. That's the problem.
Without me failing, you wouldn't have lived.
By you failing, I wouldn't have lived. How does that work?
Because you wouldn't. Everyone else just stood there and stared at you. You wouldn't have had any idea on what to do. You realized what I did.
He's Satan.
What? I knew what to do. I was just giving you the opportunity to give me the Heimlich, thinking that would be the easier of the 2 options than to jumping and busting my ribs on a back of a chair.
But listen, okay? You knocked on death's door, and I kicked it the fuck down.
Okay, I will give you credit as far as you gently fingered the knocker.
It was.
That's about all you did. You did not kick down no doors.
Yeah.
You like kind of grabbed for the knocker and missed, and the people on the inside of the house were like, "Did someone just touch the knocker?" I'm not really sure. It didn't really sound like much. That's what you did.
Did you live?
Thanks to me, yes.
Pretty sure without me, you would have died.
So
No.
did you barf?
I didn't barf. Because I took a swig of beer, so I had some beer stuck a little bit behind there.
I've always heard, like, I've never had to administer or receive the Heimlich, but I have always heard that the thing they don't tell you is when you use the stomach gases to dislodge stuck food, right? That I've heard that if someone has to give the Heimlich, the reflex that, or like the expulsion of all the stomach gases, a lot of times causes like vomiting to happen afterwards.
But yeah, that's usually with someone who's eaten most of their meal. This was the
And they're
first bite
choking on
I'd
the
taken.
tail end of it.
Right. Yeah, I hadn't eaten anything all day. I didn't have anything in my stomach other than that one piece of steak and a little bit of beer I tried to wash it down with. But yeah, it was fucking scary. Like I said, I'd never choked on anything before. I mean, I've been in a coma. I've had cancer. That was fucking scary.
I don't want to see his face anymore.
So yeah, that's my story about.
The best part, hold on.
Go ahead.
The best part is when our server, who happened to be a friend of ours, comes back. I look at him and I yell, and that's why he doesn't order the 8-ounce steak. You sue him because he tried to kill you.
Oh, and then we had the people sitting behind us. What did they say when I left? I got up.
They were just horrified by your general appearance.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
No, that's what I'm saying. You had like mucus coming out, like out of your nose and mouth, like when you started choking.
That's when I tried to drink the beer. Yeah, it didn't go down. It came back up because it couldn't. I had nowhere to go because my airway was blocked.
Could you gag yourself and it would have helped?
No, I don't think so.
But the last thing I will say about it is I wouldn't have let you die, okay? I would have hurt you before you would have died.
You sure?
Don't be.
I don't know, man.
You might have gone unconscious first, and that might have been the all right. That's permission to do whatever.
Well, he was too busy laughing at
consent.
me to give me like legit Heimlichs.
Wait, right, but then when you turn purple and like collapse on the ground, like
Yeah,
that's consent to have his way and just really shake the shit out of you.
yeah.
I would have
Well, fuck me for being inconsiderate, I guess.
That's what I'm
not
saying.
waiting
It's
long.
his fault.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my bad, I guess.
And you were choking for like 9 seconds. Don't act like it was like a minute.
Long time
Hey
when you
man,
can't
every
breathe.
second counts when you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he didn't give me more of an opportunity to help him.
You didn't really think I was choking, so you were half-assing your Heimlich.
But yet you're still here.
Yeah, thanks to me. Well,
And me.
yeah. Agree to disagree.
Do blave.
Cool.
Yeah, awkward pause. Thanks for that.
That's
And
it.
on that note...
That's a good nice quiet
Yeah.
spot. Good place to cut.
All right. We're going to go ahead and let Tyler go.
I love you.
All right, buddy. I love you too. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, buddy.
Call ended.
God,
ended.
it's like herding fucking cats with him. And if you ever heard us talk about a friend of mine who shall remain nameless, any of those stories that you remember from podcasts
Right,
before,
that's him.
That's fucking him. He's the most annoying. He can't take 2 seconds just to be serious. So I apologize, first of all, if you couldn't hear his story, and secondly, just for him in general. And we're back. Hopefully you can hear him okay. And he's a walking, talking nightmare. So I apologize for that as well.
That was an experience.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go over a couple little quick things this week. I just want to get some shout outs and stuff that I've kind of been watching out over the week. The Steam summer sale started today. So if you're somebody who's...
Wait, it started?
yeah, it started
Did it
today.
really?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Mike's like, I gotta
So
go.
if you're one of
I'll
those
see you
people
guys.
who is a big Steam person and download a lot of games from there, so check Steam's deals out today and download 5 games or over the how long is it? Like 4 or 5 days or a week? Is it all week? I forget how
think
long
it's
it
all
is.
I think it's usually a week.
There's
Yeah.
different deals every day,
Oh, yeah.
and the prices
No, I
are
know.
different every day.
Yeah. So yeah,
Well, they stopped doing that.
Oh, really? Is
They
it the
don't do
same?
that anymore.
It's
That's-
the same price all week.
It's all the same games, all the same price for the entire week. The way you're describing it is how they did it 2 years ago, and I love that. Like I was like obsessed with watching my phone every hour for the
when I
hourly
checked
deals.
it today, it said like something about today's deals, so it made me think that they were going to do different stuff each day. But continuing on what they've already shown.
Yeah, it's not quite like the way it used to be though.
No,
It
well,
used to be
that sucks.
way more fun.
Anyway, well, I didn't really dive too deep down that rabbit hole, but if it's anything like last year, I'll buy 20 games, and over the course of the next year, I'll play 3 of them.
Right.
Yeah. Which I think is what most people do on Steam anymore. But I did pick up Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the new one, just there was a big demo of it at E3, which we'll talk about that in a minute.
I got the email that 5 of my watch list games are on sale.
Yeah, so
and
same.
I looked at them and like they're all like $5, $6.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to buy most
Yeah, well,
of them.
Shadow of Mordor, I think was like $3, $3 or $4
Yeah.
for like the Game of the Year edition, and I mean the game's over a year old, I think at this point, maybe more, but still, I've never played it, so I'm really intrigued by the new game, that's going to be coming out later this year or next year. So yeah, if you're a Steam person, make sure you keep an eye on that this week and see if you can't pick up some good deals. They always have awesome stuff. So I wanted to give a shout out to a guy that I met this week while I was at Pack Rat Comics. His name is Josh Pence, and he has a channel on YouTube. If you just search Josh Pence, you'll find it. Josh, obviously, Pence. He's kind of like a collector of Pops and the Marvel Legends figures and certain Star Wars stuff, and he posts videos of him like going to different stores around town. He came into Columbus for his birthday weekend, and he just went up to like Meijer and Kroger and Best Buy and Toys R Us's, and he came into Pack Rat. He'd never been to Pack Rat before, and a buddy of his told him to check it out. So I was working on Saturday, and he came in and was like, "Hey man, I'm this guy and I do this thing, and is it cool if I record?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he recorded around the store. I didn't really notice it all that much, and we, after he was done, we kind of chatted for a little while, and he told me he was doing this thing, and he said like, and it kind of made me feel like, oh, cool. Like he's only been doing it for like a month, and he's got like almost 1,000 followers on his channel. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. We have like nobody. And I told him we do our podcast, and like we're just basically screaming to the void at this point.
Right. Our joke is that no one's listening.
Right. That's kind of our inside joke. That's really inside, is that no one actually listens to the show, and we're just kind of learning how to do this shit. And eventually, hopefully, somebody will watch. But I started following his channel, and I watched the video that he did of when he came in. He gave me a shout out, and he gave the store a shout out. So it's really cool. I'll try to remember to put a link to his channel in the show notes.
And that's
this
when you were
episode.
like, we need business cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said the name or the number of this show. Did I? Number 18, maybe. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Just put it in now.
I think you did.
Yeah,
I think you did.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you did. I remember it now. You did.
There was another article that I saw this week that made me kind of laugh. For whatever reason, Hayden Christensen and his wife, Rachel Bilson, who was in Jumper, and she was in the OC back in the day. It's a dark-haired girl. You'd recognize her if you saw her. If you don't know who it is, Hayden Christensen played Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader,
Okay.
in the prequel Star Wars movies. It was just a random article that popped up on my Facebook page that I just found really funny because, like, the headline was, even Hayden Christensen's wife doesn't want his daughter to know he played Anakin Skywalker. Because the whole joke is he was fucking terrible in that movie.
Right.
Like, the acting was, and I don't think it was his fault, But nobody likes those movies, or the great majority do not like those Star Wars movies, and they're pretty panned by most Star Wars purists. And the way that the heading on the article was worded was like, yeah, we're too embarrassed for Hayden Christensen. We don't want his daughter to find it. When you actually read the article, it was like, yeah, we just don't want her to be freaked out that her dad was Darth Vader. And I was like, I don't think you have to worry.
That's not what they're saying.
She won't want to tell anybody.
Right.
Once she figures it out, it's fine. But I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Another shout out to a show that I started watching last week. I think it was aired. I tried to get you to watch it, but you didn't particularly care for it all that much. There's a new show on.
It was just cheesy.
It's
but
supposed
I guess
to be
that's
cheesy.
the
Shut
point.
up. So there's a new show on Sci-Fi called Blood Drive. Mike, have you heard of this at all?
Blood Drive?
Blood Drive, yeah. It's like it's super Grindhouse style. Like the Quentin Tarantino Grindhouse movies a few years ago, like Death Proof and Planet Terror. And Grindhouse as a genre is supposed to be super campy. It's supposed to be super cheesy. It like started like in the 20s. Like usually they're super cheap to make, super bad production value. The tickets to go see them in the theater were super cheap, and they would show multiple movies in one go. So it'd be like a triple feature of these awful movies. Let's
see if I can sum this up.
Go ahead.
It's set in 1999. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic 1999. And it's a bunch of like Mad Max style street racers that are driving around.
Not as apocalyptic. There's still restaurants. There's still corporations. There's still
their cars don't run on gasoline. They run on blood. And to fill the car, you have to basically feed somebody to this engine that has a mouth. And
it like meat grinders them up and like fills up the little tank.
Oh, it's super cheesy. And the first inconsistency that I found that I'm having a really hard time getting past is that yellow car in the beginning is a Lancer Evolution 7. If I'm not mistaken, that car came out in 2003? 2004?
Whatever.
So for a movie that was set out 5 years before it was set, 5 years before the car was made.
The show's fucking awesome. If you like the Grindhouse style, and it doesn't take it's not supposed to take itself seriously. It's not Grindhouse is not a serious thing. But the way it's set up in like true Grindhouse style fashion is each week it focuses on a different like genre. Like this past week it was cannibals. The next week it's gonna be zombies. The week after that it's nymphomaniacs. The week after that it's monsters. I don't know. It's like 13 or 12 or 13 episodes, and they set up the next episode like at the end of the show. They give like a super cheesy like 8mm reel trailer for the new thing, and it's so freaking good. And I don't know. If you haven't watched Blood Drive on Sci-Fi, check it out on demand. It's really raunchy. It's uncensored. It's so good.
I don't sit around like looking for new stuff to watch.
Well, that's your problem.
If something really grabs my interest, I'll make time for it. But usually I'm not gonna watch that one.
That's fine. And genres, I'm like, you know me. I'm really into genre media, and usually I'll give things 3 or 4 episodes to catch my attention, and this one definitely has. Like there's some stuff that I watch and it doesn't grab me, but this is probably one that's gonna be on my DVR for a little while. What else did I want to talk about? So E3, I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but now that kind of the dust has settled and more information about each game has come out. I don't know if you guys had seen anything about any of the new games that had come out. Mike, did you pay attention to any of the stuff?
I didn't really pay too much attention. I saw a couple of videos I liked. The game that I'm interested in seeing how it turns out is Fortnite. Have you seen that?
I did see a little bit of it, yeah. Explain it to us.
I like the idea. How do you explain that? it's like a co-op game. Think kind of like Borderlands, where you're playing with 4 people and you're running around collecting items and collecting loot from these things you kill, and you're also collecting materials to build a fort. And then apparently every now and then, or maybe every night, there's a storm or something bad happens where there's just these huge swarms of enemies that come and try to attack your fort. And so you're trying to keep the fort alive, waiting for a day to come back just to start all over again and just keep building your fort bigger and bigger. And there's like traps you can set up, and it looks really neat and interesting. It's like if Borderlands and Rust had a baby, this is what it would be.
Right.
Is it cell shaded like Borderlands?
No, I don't think so.
No,
It's got a
not
style.
cell shaded, but it's got a cartoony style to it.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah. There are a couple, like I have like my top 5 things that I'm like most excited for, and mine's mostly big stuff. I'm hoping to do like a kind of an indie breakdown video on my own, just to highlight some of the lesser known indies that don't get as much airtime that I thought looked really cool. But after watching the show, I really want to get a Nintendo Switch. Like I was kind of already sold on it with Zelda Breath of the Wild and the Mario Kart thing. I've been seeing videos of people playing. It looks awesome. But man, they had a new Mario. The new Mario game was highlighted pretty heavily, and there's a new Kirby game that looks really cool. There's a new Yoshi game that looks really cool.
Yeah, I want to Switch also.
Yeah, and the hardware itself just intrigues me, and being able to carry it around and and I want to put one of the things in my mouth to see how bitter it tastes.
It's not that bad.
Did you do it? Did I know we talked about this at some point.
Yeah, no, it's not terrible.
So I'm definitely.
I can see where they're like.
Yeah.
They put it on there, so it's bitter.
Yeah. So I'm definitely starting to save my pocket change to save up to get a Switch. So one of the games I'm looking forward to. I'm a huge Far Cry fan. Did you ever play any of the Far Cry games?
No.
But this Far Cry 5, this next one is set in Montana, and like the other Far Cry games are like on a tropical island in Africa, somewhere in the Bahamas, and then like Nepal. So not Montana.
Right.
And it's usually like, the hunting like wild animals is part of it. Liberating like outposts of enemies is part of it. And so set in a rural America thing is really intriguing to me. And if you know anything about Far Cry 5, I've seen gameplay footage of it, and it looks gorgeous, and it's like more of the kind of same formula, which I like because I'm a huge Far Cry fan. The new Spider-Man game looks insane. There's this new IP on the Xbox called Anthem, which is basically if you took Destiny or an open world kind of loot gathering, but I think it's third person. Basically, you're in like these Iron Man suits, and you go out and do missions and collect loot and fight bosses and stuff like that. And it's something completely new. Like it's not, Destiny 2 or this rehash of Halo or whatever. It's something completely totally new, which looks amazing. Days Gone, which is a new kind of zombie game that has like zombies are so kind of
cliche
played out at this point. It's hard to like stand out in the zombie genre at this point.
Right.
But the way they kind of showed how the main character of this game uses the zombies as a weapon, like he came across a encampment of bad guys, whoever the enemy or the bad faction is, humans. And their camp was blocked off by this gate, and a bunch of zombies were gathering on the other side of the gate. And he like broke the gate, and zombies came and attacked his enemies, and he kind of made his way through and got past them because he set loose the zombie horde on them. And the way the zombies move, it's not like the individual zombies here and there. It's like a sea of like a wave of zombies. Like if you ever saw, what was the Brad Pitt zombie movie? Do you remember World War Z?
Yeah.
how those zombies moved. They were all like super fast and all crawling over each other to get to you. That's how these are. So it looks really, really cool, and it's got Sam Witwer, I believe, is the main character, who's like the face and the voice. I'm a big fan of his. And he's like in a biker gang that's in the post-apocalyptic zombie world, which intrigues me. And the last one on my list is a game called Detroit Become Human, which is basically an AI uprising. There's androids that have been basically appliances for humans, are gaining sentience and beginning to revolt. So you play as, I think, 3 different characters. One of them is one of the artificial intelligent robots, androids, who's become sentient and leading this revolt against humanity. Another one is one that has her sentience, but is like trying to hide and live a normal life, at least I think. And another one is a human police officer who is like solving these android related crimes. And everything you do changes the outcome. So like one of your characters could die at the very beginning of the game, and the game adjusts to the narrative if that person is dead. Yeah, and so there's so many different paths, and the way they demoed it is really cool, like showing if you just, like one of the demos was the police officer talking somebody off of jumping off a ledge, like jumping off a building. And if you just go out there and just start talking to him, he doesn't really know you, or you don't really know him, and eventually he ends up jumping. But if you check out his apartment before you walk out on the balcony, you see a picture of his mother, or you see a picture of this, or you see something in the apartment, and you use that in your conversation to talk to him, and you talk him down. Or you could say something wrong and have done all that, and he still ends up jumping. So it's there's so many different ways to go.
Like one of those ABXY, press this to talk.
Like Heavy Rain, or...
Is it a Bethesda game?
No.
Okay.
Heavy Rain, or what was the other one with Helen?
Oh, Heavy Rain is so good.
Yeah, so it's those guys. It's those guys who did Heavy Rain. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But yeah, same developer. So yeah, it looks freaking awesome. But yeah, that's all I kind of had for this week. I was kind of busy this week, so I didn't really have a whole lot of time to get stuff done.
I didn't get the chance to watch. Work got pretty busy. My headset died, so now I don't have any way to discreetly listen to stuff at work without putting on headphones or playing it through speakers and having everyone else hear what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So
that sucks.
I don't
know how to deal with my wireless headphones died on me.
I'm behind on YouTube videos. I'm behind on trailers, and I know E3 was going on, and the only thing I really had to go by was like Reddit memes.
Yeah.
And so, like, what I gathered is that they announced yet another port of Skyrim on another platform.
Well, they're Skyrim are doing VR, or Fallout VR,
no,
or
Fallout VR,
and Skyrim on the Switch. Yeah,
right. And so they were like, here at E3 2025, we're announcing Skyrim on the PlayStation 7.
Yeah. What is it? A 4 or 5-year-old game now is still getting launched on new consoles.
Still getting ported on new consoles.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know why I've bought Skyrim like 3 times. I have it on my PC, I had it on my Xbox, and I have it on my Xbox 360. Or my Xbox One,
and that's
my Xbox
why
360.
It keeps living.
I know, it's my fault. It's totally my fault. And I'll
Damn it, Heath.
I know. I haven't even gotten through the Fallout 4 yet.
I haven't either.
Ugh. And I think I just bought it on my computer not too long ago when it was on sale, and I have it on my Xbox. Oh, I have a problem.
I also saw that Sony backed out of allowing cross-platform play.
For
what was the game? I don't remember.
Are you sure that was Sony?
Yeah, because Xbox and PC were.
Was it Rocket League?
Maybe no. Rocket League is already cross-platform.
Roll credits. Oh, nothing.
But yeah, there was a game, and Sony decided they're not gonna allow it to be cross-platform play.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You can't change your PSN name, so after this many years, so that doesn't surprise me. There's probably not because of how the hardware is. They probably can't.
Right. They say it's that they don't want to, but
right.
They don't actually know how.
Right. Speaking of not catching up on things, Mike, did you catch up on The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead by any chance?
That would be a negative because I suck.
What do you do with your week?
I work and I take care of the kid, and then I play Heroes of the Storm. And I don't actually. My TV is okay. You've been in my house, right, Heath?
Yeah.
All right, so the TV's downstairs, right? It's not down there anymore. It's up in my bedroom.
Okay.
But the cable box is downstairs, so I don't really have a way to watch it.
Why did
I could watch it on video on demand, but
Why is your TV upstairs and not downstairs?
We brought it upstairs over a weekend that we had free, and we were watching TV and movies. And then we were like, you know what? This is really nice. And then we never brought it back down.
So you just got to move your cable box up there at some point?
You don't have a cable hookup in your room?
No, there's only 2 jacks in my whole house that have live cable jacks. I'd have to have someone like redo the wiring in the basement.
Gotcha.
You look confused.
We are confused.
I'm like, of all the people that I would think would be able to make those jacks live, I would think you'd be able to do it with a 2-way splitter and like some extra coax cable.
It's less about knowing what to do versus actually doing it. Like, sure, I could go down there and I could mess with it, but that takes effort. And there's spiders in the basement.
Yeah, I need somebody to.
Yeah, they sounds like they own the basement now.
Oh.
You went down there to get something, and you're like, "Oh, that's a spider." All right, this is your basement now. I'm gonna go upstairs, honey.
No.
We have a squatter in the basement. It's his now.
It's like Fight Club in my basement. There's spiders and there's a ton of those, like, well, not a ton, but there's a couple of those silverfish.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
And they're just like going crazy, like eating each other. It's great.
You ever watch them fight?
I've seen one chase. I saw a silverfish chasing a spider, and I'm like, I'm out.
I can't.
That was pretty entertaining.
Well, we're gonna jump into the Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead portion of this here podcast. Do you want to stick around? Or do you want to bounce out?
I think I'm gonna bounce out because I have intentions of watching it. I just haven't done it yet.
Do you want us to catch you up? Do you want the Cliff Notes version of?
No, I don't want to do that. That's too crazy.
I stopped watching it halfway through last season. Like, that's a lot of catching up.
What do you remember happening last?
They were leaving the island they were on.
There's way too much.
The island?
Yeah, when they were on the boat.
They were on an island.
That family on the island.
Oh.
That was a while ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a while ago.
So you never saw the hotel?
No.
You never saw... What else happened? The compound.
The Mexican compound.
Wait. I remember... Okay, no, they were going to Mexico, right? And they made landfall, and the kid, the druggy kid, either he was all covered in like mud or something, and came across the dude's like bodyguard or something like that. Right?
I don't know.
But if the island is the last thing you remember, you've got a few episodes to go.
I'm gonna watch it.
All right,
but I don't know when.
Well, hurry up and make it soon.
Yeah, you got a lot of episodes to watch.
I might be able to do a bunch of episodes over July 4th weekend, actually.
Okay. Well,
does your wife watch it with you?
No, she doesn't like that show. We're watching Orange is the New Black, which is awesome.
I'm still trying to finish House of Cards, and then I'm jumping over to Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, it's one of the few shows we enjoy together. So
Yeah.
We've been really enjoying Community. Not Community.
Running
Parks
what?
and Rec. Parks and Rec.
Oh, Parks and Rec. She watched that and I didn't, and now I'm kind of like, I should have watched that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny. Nick
you-
Offerman is actually the one that got me into that.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that plays Ron Swanson.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Did you ever see or read the book The Mist, the Stephen King? Do you remember that movie? They're like the
I
small
saw that
town
movie.
Yeah, the movie.
I think so.
I really like that movie.
There's a I can't even talk. Tonight, the Mist show started on Spike, so it's a TV show now. So they're starting it
Really?
as a TV show. Yeah, it was on tonight at 10. Started on Spike.
Yeah.
The pilot episode.
The ending of that movie was like the best ending ever.
Oh my gosh, that was just brutal. We won't spoil it here, but yeah, that was heart-wrenching. And the first time I'd ever heard of The Mist or seen The Mist was the library here had a book on like an audio cassette tape that was like surround sound. Like it wasn't a reading of a story or reading of the book or the short story. It was actors acting out what was happening, but you could only hear it, obviously. And you'd put your headphones on, and if someone was talking, they'd either be in front of you, or if someone was behind that person, you would hear it behind you, like on like little nothing foam padded little Casio headphones. It was like a full surround sound. You could hear it from the little creatures would fly around you, and you'd be like looking over your shoulder, like, cause you could hear them going. It was I was a kid, so who knows how good it actually was, but it was the fucking coolest thing ever. And I would get that thing from the library, like I'd renew it over and over for months and listen to this 2 hour and a half long short drama that was like in 3D sound. It was awesome. And the ending is the same way on the audio because I knew it was kind of coming. But man, yeah, that movie, the way it was kind of done was pretty brutal.
I feel like it was very underappreciated.
Yeah, the movie, yeah, I agree. But no, I liked it a lot. So yeah, hopefully after we get done here, if it's not too late, I'm gonna go and hop downstairs and check that episode out and see what I think about it. Hopefully it'll live up to the hype. Because I wasn't too fond of the Under the Dome show that the Stephen King show that was on a couple years ago. I don't forget how long it's been off now, but I didn't get through the first season, unfortunately. But all right, Mike, well, we'll say goodbye to you for now and hopefully get caught up. I'm going to be gone the 4th of July week, so you'll have a weekend or two to try to catch up with everything.
Yeah, I have a couple extra days off, so that'll work out well for me.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Yep, have a good evening. We'll talk to you later.
You too.
All right,
Peace
bye.
out.
Later, Mike.
Okay, and we're back. So Mike's gone. We're going to talk about the Fear the Walking Dead episode that was this week called 100. I really liked this episode.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was so
This was a good one.
I mean,
we needed that.
Yeah, I'm glad they kind of addressed it right away, as opposed to on Walking Dead, they kind of leave mysteries 3 episodes until you get it answered.
I said it last time, and I'm definitely saying it again this time. If you don't see the body, they're not dead.
Right.
And this just solidified that, which we'll just get it out there. Travis is not dead. I'm sticking to it.
You're standing by
Travis is not dead. We saw him fall from a helicopter. There's no way he survived that. I think whoever shot the helicopter,
took him and rehabilitated him,
is nursing him back to health. I don't know if he's going to be their prisoner or part of them, but he's still alive.
All right, well, my theory is at some point down the road when, all of them are trying to make an escape from the compound they're in now, at some pivotal moment, he's going to show up zombified and everyone's going to pause and then something will happen. He's going to show up. For the
sake of making the show interesting,
as a zombie at some point.
For the sake of making the show interesting, I hope that's what happens.
Yeah.
But it just...
I
would not expect that.
They'll be in some scenario where they have to get out quickly and then Madison will see him zombified in the crowd.
And just break down.
And someone will break down. And then in the midst of them trying to drag her away, somebody's going to get killed or something's going to happen.
Right.
He will be a pivotal point of a major moment somewhere down the road as a zombie. That's my hypothesis.
Well, I hope they do. I hope they do. But I expect that they're going to pull the same bullshit they've pulled. We played with your emotions, and now we're going to show you that person wasn't actually dead to be at all.
Right.
Like our friend Daniel Salazar, who was, in
a burning building.
Clearly burning in a building, and it was so emotional, and we knew he was dead. Until this week when we're like, oh wait, but he wasn't dead.
They didn't really explain how he got out. He's just like, I explained that
he fought and finally got out, and then he collapsed. And when he came to, the whole building was burned down and everyone was dead.
And so he's under the impression that he burned his Ophelia alive.
Yeah, he thinks he burned his daughter alive.
And I don't really know. I can't remember what happened to Ophelia.
She left the hotel.
Did she?
Yeah, she took a truck and left.
That's just one of the parts of my brain that's totally... But then you had Victor. Oh, we'll get to that later. Anyway, so we figure out that Dante, the leader of the Damn Brigade, was some kind of president at one point.
Yeah.
That's my thing. So that's why he's kind of the position of power. But we get a little bit of, Daniel's backstory of how he escaped, and we kind of meet up with him as he's leaving his injuries.
We also find out more about his time past.
What, El Salvador?
El Salvador?
San Salvador?
San Salvador?
Somewhere. One of the Salvadors. But yeah, and I thought that was really cool. So he gets kind of, I don't want to say rescued, but found by this guy, Efrain.
Yep.
Who kind of takes him and tries to help him, and when this
brings him to a medic lady that can help his leg and nurse him back to health. And
I put a note down here. I was like, would you trust any stranger that walks up to you at this point? I don't understand how people just keep trusting these people. And it ended up going well for Daniel, at least.
He didn't really have a choice.
That's true.
He was dying under that car.
Yeah.
And the guy pulled him out, and I mean, if someone finds you in that poor of condition and doesn't immediately kill you, they're probably pretty trustworthy.
Yeah.
Because you're clearly going to be of no benefit to them.
Right. So he kind of takes her back to this doctor lady, Lola. And he's in real bad shape, and his leg is really badly burned, and they have to scrape off the infected part of his leg with looked like a straight razor.
Straight razor.
Oh man!
Try not to scream; you'll draw him.
And he did not. He failed. And then we kind of cut to a later part where he's a little more healed up, and he's out with Efrain, doing a water run.
Yeah.
I guess because they've found this fountain that a timer kicks on and pours out a little bit of water, and they've been kind of collecting it. And they have this little sit down, heart to heart in Efrain's little hideout, and they kind of talk about his past,
right?
How, and I can't tell if Efrain was a priest or is a priest, or he's clearly an alcoholic.
He said, "I'm a lot of things."
Yeah. So, and the kind of the big theme of this whole episode was Daniel trying to get forgiveness. He kept saying, forgive me. And they kind of talk about his past and what he did when he was, in whatever, group he was in San or El Salvador. And Efrain at one point asks him, how many people have you killed?
Right.
And his answer was 96.
96.
Yeah. And then later on, he's asked how many people he's killed, and he says, "I've lost count," which I don't know why he wasn't honest with Dante or whatever. But
yeah, I don't know if 96 is impressively high or impressively low.
And I don't know, is that before or after the zombie apocalypse?
Maybe it's because, right.
I think in 96, before the zombie apocalypse, is pretty impressive.
Like, as a regular civilian, 96 is, like, a lot.
Right.
As a hired assassinator for, like, the Resistance, or, I don't know, I think it was the Resistance.
Right.
Maybe 96 is not all that much.
96 seems to be a lot to me.
Because when the other thing is, Dante asked, how many communists did you kill?
Oh, that's fair. Fair enough.
Maybe he didn't know how many of them were communists. And
and a part I totally forgot, I skipped over. Can we talk about the lightning zombie?
No, that was just cheesy.
That was awesome.
I mean, it was awesome, but I don't know.
But he had kind of like given up and like,
that's true.
Take
that's
me
true.
now, and it was kind of like, you know, the symbolism of like whoever's up there, like, we're not done with you yet.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna die right now. So we're gonna strike this giant zombie down, and that's when he kind of collapses. And
right. I was wondering if the lightning made him collapse, like if it knocked him out.
I think he was just.
That's true, and then it shows him in the sewer with the.
Because the storm, I'm assuming, because that was kind of weird. It was getting ready to storm, so I'm assuming he got swept into the, from all the rain.
Right.
He got swept into that drainage ditch that he was in, and ended up in that tunnel with the zombie.
Can we also? We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. So yeah, after he gets found, he's taken. He's in the dam compound area now, and he gets taken to meet Dante, the boss, who kind of they give him a job. The doctor lady is working with
before that.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
The two that find him, take him and hide him in a room. Their boss comes in, who ends up being Lola,
the doctor,
the doctor lady,
right?
And she's like, "No, it's good that you brought him here and hid him, keep hiding him." They gave him a job as a janitor, and that's when we find out that she's the one in charge of water quality and that's making sure that the water's clean.
Yeah, but she's also the one turning on the.
We later find out that she's the one turning on the
siphoning
pump.
water out for them to steal, which is a big no-no as it turns out. But yeah, so then there's a scene where he's in the cafeteria eating what looks like just spam, or cat food or something, and Dante comes walking in, and everybody else kind of stands up out of respect or fear or whatever you want to call it, and he doesn't stand up because A, he doesn't know any better, and B, doesn't give a shit probably. And so one of Dante's cronies comes over and says, "Oh, you need to stand up," and blah blah blah, and kind of messes with him, puts his finger in his food. And Daniel stabs him and kind of causes a scene, and then that causes Dante to come over.
Stabs him, busts him in the face, he kicked his ass.
Anyways, gets Dante's attention, which comes over and talks to him for a minute, and I guess recognizes his name. If
he figured out when he said, "What's your name? Where are you from?"
Right,
San Salvador, and then he saw the quick moves this guy pulled on his head of security, that is someone that should be able to counter moves like that.
Right.
That his head of security just got his ass handed to him by an older dude from San Salvador. And he's like, "What was your rank?"
Right. Obviously you're
what
military.
What role did you play?
Right.
You're well trained. And then he's not telling him, flips down the lip. He had NC. He had a tattoo, which clearly that was a thing, and he knew that was a thing. No, it was wasn't SN.
Whatever, I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
I couldn't really see it.
It was basically their highest form of. It was like Black Ops or Navy SEALs or CIA trained operatives working for the Resistance. Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome. We got a little bit more Clearly he's a badass.
And then as soon as Dante realizes that, yeah, he's like, "Yep, I need this guy."
Yeah, because he knows that somebody's been stealing water, and they end up. I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Daniel and his other, henchmen, cronies go out and try to search for where the water's coming from.
Right.
And they kind of find the fountain that they've been taking the water from.
They see the fountain, see that it's dry.
Right.
Searching the rest of that whole area. Daniel sees the clock. And
conveniently,
he's like,
it's almost 5 o'clock.
It's almost 5. Yep.
For plot purposes.
So then now, I'm not exactly sure what happens when he was like, "Here's your water thief right here." Did he point them to Ephraim's hideout?
Yes.
Was Ephraim in there?
I'm assuming either he was in there or they waited there until he got there.
So why? I understand he didn't want them to find the fountain. Why would he out there?
Well, it was either out this one person
Mm-hmm.
and have them be so preoccupied they don't notice that the fountain is going off.
He already said was dead inside or something.
Right.
Okay.
And let all these other people who are using the fountain continue to use the fountain and continue to live, or have them walk over there, see the fountain, and shut it down, and then nobody has water and they die of thirst. So I think he was going for the lesser of two evils in his mind.
Yeah.
Is kind of the way out that I took it. And so they capture Ephraim, bring him back to the dam compound, and he begins being interrogated, and then Dante kind of sicks Daniel on him, saying, "You've been trained in this. Get him to talk."
Yeah.
And yeah, that was hard.
So
that was
Daniel
a hard scene.
tells him, "If you talk, they're going to kill you, and then they're going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't talk, I have to kill you.
Right.
I will do my best to make it fast.
Right.
Those are your options."
Right.
And he says,
"Those options aren't options."
"Those options aren't options."
That was
right.
awesome. Yeah, and then so he's starting to break Ephraim down, and Lola can't take it, so she like comes out and says,
Right.
"Stop, it's me," and Daniel's just like, "Oh, what the Jesus!"
So then we see them all on the top of the dam,
Getting ready to be tossed,
and they toss the first guy,
mm-hmm.
which he was just another guy, right? He didn't have
just
anything
an
significant.
excuse for them to show him throwing somebody off there again,
Right.
which was awesome.
And then they were going to throw the girl. Well, they were going to throw Ephraim first, but then they were going to throw the girl. I understand that she, like, did some things or was doing some things
She
that
was stealing
she's
water.
not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But she's the one that's making sure their water stays clean.
But I mean,
I can't imagine there's a whole lot of water quality experts.
That's true.
Hanging out in the zombie apocalypse.
That's true.
And so you get rid of your only way to keep your water clean. You're not going to be able to find any other ways to keep your water
who's to
clean.
say she was the only one? But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right. So I thought that, throwing them off was kind of a foolish punishment on that part. But
building tension.
Yeah.
But then,
we saw that.
Yeah, man, Daniel kind of went all gun fu on him.
Right.
And, at the end there, he kind of gets down on his knees in front of Lola after shooting Dante in the head and killing his henchman.
Like, here's the gun. Do it if you must.
And he says, "Forgive me."
Yeah.
And I think that's the last scene is, him on his knees in front of her.
And then she just offers her hand.
Yeah.
Right.
So
does he run that place now?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he just wants to get out of there and find his daughter.
He's going to give everyone water. Give the whole community water.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he went and saw Victor when he was in his cell, and Victor was up there too.
Right.
Getting ready to be thrown off. And Victor, was told him, like, "Oh, she's at this hotel, blah, 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 blah. She's waiting for you." And he's like,
and he's like reading his eyes.
"I don't think so, because she thinks I'm dead, so I don't think she'd be there waiting for me, so you're lying." So I'm curious as to how their relationship's going to go from this point forward. If they're going to try to work together and leave together. And,
yeah, he's like, he'll say anything to get out.
Right. So, or if he's going to stay there at the dam for a while, or
that's true. We didn't really talk about that whole conversation at the cell. That was like the very beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
After the flashback of how he got there.
Yeah. But yeah, because it was kind of it wasn't really a big point of anything.
Did you see the clips from next week?
I was kind of writing notes when they were happening. I didn't
they
pay
were
attention.
showing more of the stuff from the compound. It looks like Madison is getting more chummy with the people in the compound.
Mm.
But then there was this Native American guy who was like, "You guys have to leave now," and I don't think we've seen him before.
As you guys need to leave now, or he doesn't want them there, needs to leave now.
No,
he's trying to warn them, or
he's outside and he's like, "You guys need to get out of here now."
Oh,
and come with me. And I wonder if he was the guy that shot them down, or if he was from the group that shot them down.
Oh, maybe.
And I mean, Travis looks like a Native American. He could totally. I wonder, isn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Was he?
I think he's from some island somewhere.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
But
sorry if that's racist.
No. I mean, I thought him and then Chris, they both looked like they had some Native American heritage. I mean, you have to wonder if that was like cast for a reason. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think we're gonna see him alive again. I mean, I don't know. For the sake of changing it up, I hope not.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
I would have never expected to see Daniel Salazar back because I really thought he was dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just
and they gave it long enough to have us keep thinking he was dead, and then until we kind of forgot.
Right.
And then he just sort of popped up. That's how you do it, not the Glenn thing where it's like just 2 weeks and then, oh, he's still alive. We kind of knew that, but okay.
But Glenn, I mean, that was such a big role. His real death was a lot more, I don't know, what you would expect from a character that's been in the show since the beginning.
A death worthy of that character. Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm interested to see how the group is going to leave the damn compound, and if they're going to go try to find Ophelia and where the hell Ophelia is. But yeah, other than that, the episode was awesome. Mainly in Spanish. We didn't really talk about that. The episode was mainly subtitled in Spanish.
Oh, and what were the subtitles in the beginning?
He was hallucinating or hearing a voice. Or,
Could you actually hear the voice? Like, I couldn't hear the voice through the speakers on my TV.
I could hear it. I couldn't understand it.
Faint?
Yeah, it was real faint, like wispy, ghosty.
I just saw subtitles and I didn't.
Yeah, no, it was like.
It was before I turned my volume up.
Yeah. But, so no, I understand, and yeah, that was a little weird. Like, obviously, a ghostly voice doesn't really translate. No pun intended. Translate very well when it's in another language.
Right.
And it doesn't have the same resonance to us as it would to a Spanish speaking person.
Right.
Because we hear that all the time in shows where there's just a disembodied. Loopy voice in the background, and we don't think anything of it. But yeah, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and end it right there. Thanks for joining us on this episode, and I think we'll be recording next week. I know we got some vacations coming up. I'm gonna be out of town 4th of July week, so we may miss a couple weeks. And I know the episode 16 and 17 just posted today as of this recording because editing got weird. But those are up now, so you can catch up with those. And we do our best to keep continuing to do them on a semi-regular basis, but with jobs and with children and families, it's kind of hard to do sometimes. But no one's listening to this anyway, so that's cool. But
we just do it for our own enjoyment.
It's just an excuse for us to get out and hang out with each other.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll bring Tyler back at some point. Maybe not, because he's out of control. Which could be good for the podcast, but who knows. But yeah, guys, take care. Have a good rest of your week, and we will catch you next time.
Later.
chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool.
I already regret this.
But it needs to be strong enough so I can have sex with my wife on it.
Right.
That's going at the end of the podcast. That's the end tagline.